Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the moments, decision, and experience that shape who we have become. Today's guest is Carmen Wiesinger, a nervous system and leadership strategy, helping ambitious women build authority without collapsing under pressure. Carmen's journey now didn't begin from a lack of knowledge or ambition, but from the deeper realization at a point where everything looked strong on the outside. She felt unstable on the inside, acting under pressure, seeking validation, and struggling to hold her ground in moments that require presence. That tension led her to uncover something many high performers overlook. Success isn't just a strategy, it's an ask. What's wrong with this? Verbs? Yeah. So this is teaching how women are to lead with ground authority, under pressure, without losing herself, to build presence that lasts. It's really a pleasure and honor having you on the show. Praise God.
Thank you. It's also a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So you mentioned that externally things look strong, but internally you felt unable. When did you first realize that something deeper was missing beyond strategy and mindset?
That was last year in 2025, because right now we have March 2026, where about last year where I realized, okay, I'm since 5 years in the mindset coaching space, and I was only connected with the topic mindset and with some subtopics, and also, with topics around that. But the main topic was mindset, and I thought, okay, mindset is the thing you have, to reach every goal you want to reach. But that isn't true. Yeah, and I realized that last year because I thought, okay, in March 2025, I thought there is still something missing, but I can't name it. Yeah, I was searching on the outside for this. I thought, okay, maybe the mainstream is knowing that, in the mindset coaching space, but there I couldn't find the solution, because what is the mindset coaching space doing? Just talking about, the typical mindset topics I've heard 1,000 times in 5 years. And then I stepped back from that space and went more internally. And one day, it was, I think, a few days before my 27th birthday last year, I realized, okay, that the solution may be something else. And one day I got the sign of thinking of, when I was sitting there and thinking, okay, I have to watch this one movie. Because I went to Disney Plus and any sign told me watch Iron Man 1. And it was a little weird. It felt a little weird, but I thought, okay, good, I'm going to do it. And after I have been watching this movie, I noticed, okay, the main character, Tony Stark, we all know from Marvel, was, also someone he had so many issues in his past, but what he did differently from me was that he stayed stable. Even there was a high amount of pressure. Even a higher amount of pressure than I had in my whole life. We all know that. And then I realized, okay, this has to do with something else. And I noticed that it is nervous system capacity. And that was the topic that I've missed. Because my mindset was good, my knowledge was good, but my nervous system was a mess. And so I had to work on this. And that was the moment, where I noticed, okay, that has to do with something more.
Wow, that was really amazing. I think it's the fact that at that particular point you were able to pause, look inward, and through the movie you were getting to see that yes, despite a whole lot that was happening, it was still keeping being able to kind of this everything one thing after the other. Yeah, that's really amazing. Also, you began studying high level performance and leaders. Archetype. What pattern did you notice that changed how you understand confidence and authority?
Especially because you said, high performers and leaders, there is one person, from one person this whole thing started. I mentioned him when I answered the last question, was Tony Stark. And there I noticed, okay, even if, the whole press and everything around him was confused there about his past decisions in this movie, also in the other movies, even if everyone was confused, he stayed stable under pressure. And this is something I had to learn because this is something other high performers are doing too, who separate them from other people, because on a specific stage there will always be situations where you have to decide something else that 99% of the people is telling you. And that was a moment I had last year too, where I said, okay, the mindset coaching space is just talking surface level stuff. And then I stepped back and decided to do it on an unconventionally way and search for another solution. Yeah, there is what I discovered. Okay, nervous system, capacity, yeah, holding things under pressure, even if all the people around you are confused. And that is what separates high performers from just people who collapse under pressure when one hate comment is coming in, or when and if any person disagrees with their opinions or everything in their business or personal life. And this is something that I had to learn also, on a nervous system level, because on a mindset level, I was there. Yeah, but the nervous system rates always first before the mindset even catches up.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing. So, how did learning to regulate your nervous system change the way you make decisions under pressure now?
It really helped me much. Yeah, in the beginning, I didn't notice anything because I thought like, okay, nothing changes. But then when I did that over a few months and some challenges came up in my life, whether it was personal life or business life, I noticed something very unique. I didn't fall back into the freeze state, because there are three states: fight, flight, and freeze. And I didn't fall back in that, or I didn't fall back in overthinking mode, because that's also something many people do. They fall back in overthinking and then they don't, take action to find a solution. That's also something, if you don't fall back in freeze mode or overthinking mode, it's also something Tony Stark is doing, because if a challenge comes up, he thinks like, just a normal Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to solve that, and that is such an internal state I developed last year. And even if, someone else in my family or friends would have said, what the fuck, what are you doing there? I said, okay, I'm going to solve that. It's now here, I cannot change it. Only one thing I can change, I can solve it.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So before this transformation take place, how much of your identity was tied to the external validation, and what did it take to start detaching from that?
Before that started, it was that I was controlled about the outside, I would say. Not fully, but to a specific degree. I listened to advice from business mentors. I listened to any random advice on social media, because social media is so huge nowadays. And that is something that really kept me stuck from my own decisions, because I thought, if so many people are doing this, that, and whatever they are doing, and they are successfully with strategy XYZ, then it must have been working it must be working for me too. But sadly it didn't work. I had to go my own way, and I had to find my own way, because like so many other people said, okay, 99% of strategies, they don't fit with your nervous system, they don't fit to your journey. To a specific degree, I have to agree with this. And that was something I had to do. I had to step back and see, okay, to really gather my thoughts, and not to listen to any random advice that is coming from the outside. Because that was always the thing. I heard one advice and thought like, okay, that must be the future, but in 99% of the cases it wasn't.
Which that's really amazing. I think it just shows the fact that on social media there's a whole lot of hit and miss. There's a whole lot of content out there which might not be directly addressing this same topic. Yeah, amazing. So rebuilding yourself up from the inside out is not easy. What was the hardest internal battle you had to face during that process?
Hardest thing really was that doubts were creeping in. Sometimes from the past. Although I had a specific stability. That's also the shadow side from developing, because any doubts of the past, they creep in, and then it depends. Okay, are you really ready to solve them now, or are you overthinking, or getting frustrated, confused about this again, and fall into a huge overthinking cycle? That was really the hardest part I had to face. But fortunately, I had a specific method that I'm always using for myself, not just for clients to implement that in their life. But with that method, I really leveled up my life. It's the aura method, that I use also for clients to really step into that unshakable presence. I'm always talking about the superhero aura, I call this, and because that is what superheroes have. Yeah, because they have this aura of managing all the struggles, although struggles may be huge sometimes. But this is something I really use very often to overcome my own challenges.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. So if you had to more like I'll describe the core principle that now guides how you show up in leadership and life, what would it be?
The core principle is that it's the first step is always about the identity. Yeah, that's
Mm,
what I said with the aura method, because the A is all for audit your identity leaks. First of all, the method has 4 letters, and every letter stands for a specific step. It's first step is always the identity. The next step is unchained from validation. And then the third step is where presence, aura, and everything begins. Yeah, ritualize your power state. Because many, you can reach goals. Yeah, you can reach high goals. But if your identity isn't on the level of these goals, then you feel really unhappy. You don't feel fulfilled, because that was the problem I had last year, and the years before, but I couldn't quite name it there, because first in 2025 I could name it. So the first core is always identity.
yeah, amazing. Amazing. Thank you. So let's dive a bit into the work of Fernando. So you talk about validation or dependency in business. How does it show up in a subtle way that most people don't even recognize it?
It shows mostly up in let's take social media. Yeah, there it
Yeah.
shows up most of the time. When we hear any advice, we think, okay, especially when it says, in 2026, XYZ happens or whatever. Yeah, and then we think, okay, we have to do with anything with that. But that isn't true in most cases, I noticed. And also in any business meetings or in any high stakes moments, it's especially about validation when we think, okay, we have to impress any other people to recognize us, although the other way around, so many people would be more successful, because first it's about the identity, and then the identity decides, okay, who likes you or who doesn't like you, because there are always two things. I say, okay, you can have full identity with the good parts and also the negative parts of you, because we all have parts we may not like about us that much, and people will judge you. And the other part is identity isn't fully stable. You are more like the people pleaser. There, people will judge you too. Yeah, so you have two options. Yeah, option one, full identity, and then you are more stable, or the other option, you're not. If their identity isn't stable. And this is also something where so many things of validation show up if you haven't built your identity fully yet.
Yeah, amazing. Identity showing up every now and then, showing not in full. And the fact that, you need validation here and there. Just people don't to it. Amazing. So what is the difference between confident and what you call grounded authority? And why does that distinction matters?
Grounded authority is so important, because when challenges come up, when you're in high stakes moments, when you face any challenges, not just in good times, because in good times everyone can be grounded. Honestly, everyone can have an aura and presence and everything, but what matters is how you show up in situations under pressure. There you really need to be grounded, because that is always the right way. If you are grounded, then people around you are. That points you also out as a good leader. So because people follow most of the time any specific leaders in a group, and this also has confidence inside, because confidence there is also very important. I also think there are two parts of confidence. The one is fake confidence, the other one is also grounded confidence, I would call it. Fake confidence is more like an performance so many people are doing, because on the outside you can perform confidence, but if there's a crucial question that shakes your nervous system, then all the confidence is collapsing. But if a crucial question comes and you're really grounded confident, then stay stable and think like, okay, crucial question, I'm going to answer it.
Yeah, amazing. Fake confidence, which shows more of performance based, not really grounded in the compared to the grounded confidence, which speak volumes to you just being your authentic self. Yeah, amazing, amazing. For someone who feels confident in private but struggles when they become visible, what's actually happening internally?
Internally, in most cases, happens the what I call nervous system spike.
Mm,
Because you feel that it comes from your gut, and then it stops here. You get a spike, and then anxiety comes up, or then immediately the fight, flight, and freeze response comes, the F responses. And then if you don't have the control over that, if your nervous system isn't trained, then you make in most cases bad decisions. There are decisions you think I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Because that's the most case. And the other case is that for people who are, let's say, just in training with the nervous system, they feel, that their body language is changing. Yeah, because body language is also something where you see that in most
yeah.
cases, when people slouch or when people suddenly get sweaty hands. Yeah, or when they look to the ground or anywhere else. So that is the next thing. But this is also connected with the spike in your nervous system. And this is something that can, in most cases, really influence your ability to make presentations, hold meetings, or to tell your story in any moments.
Oh, amazing. I think this is really lovely. I'm glad we're actually talking about this. So lastly, I would love to actually chip in this question or two and ask. So what are some practical ways people can begin building that stability daily?
It's very important to do that, because I talked about training your nervous system. It's mostly about to first recognize, okay, in what moments, gets your nervous system triggered. That's very important to write this down. And the next step would be to do some grounding exercises. I always combine that with a breathing technique, a mantra, and then an anchor. I see many people are doing only one of these three or only two and not the third one. Yeah, but I would say that's just half the story. And the first thing is a simple breathing exercise would be breathe in 3 seconds, hold 2 seconds, and breathe out 7 seconds. And then you say your mantra. That mantra should be individual always. Yeah, because any mantra from YouTube or from any Instagram profile where you see any quotes that doesn't fit you in 99% of the cases. So find an individual mantra that levels you up, that gives you a positive feeling, like I am a grounded authority. That's just an example. Yeah, and then you should use an anchor. Yeah, to really bring this feeling up again. Yeah, this is also something you have to do more often, because that doesn't work in the first time. It mostly works after the fifth or sixth time. That you take 2 fingers or 3 fingers and press them together, the mostly the thumb, the middle finger, and the other finger next to the middle finger, and press them together, and then you have this kind of power state. But in the first beginning, it's really about, uncovering where gets your nervous system triggered, because that's also about identity. If you don't do that step in the first place, then the exercises, the three I talked about before, they don't work. Yeah, because there will always be this trigger, and then you cannot be in this power state.
Yeah, amazing. Recognize when your nervous system is being triggered, and also do some ground exercise, a mantra, which is the individual breathing and the whole of other stuff. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Alkamia. So for my audience, I would love to reach out to you, either for coaching sections or to consume more of your content or to follow you on various media. How can they do that, and where is the best platform?
Yes, thank you so much for having me here. If you're ever felt like you know what to do, but under pressure you don't show up at the way you wanna show up, then I created a free quiz. It's called "Which Superhero Are You Under Pressure?" Yeah, it gives you a really clear picture of what's actually happened and how to shift it. And the link in the quiz is in the show notes. Again, my name is Carmen Wiesinger, and thank you so much for listening. And I can't wait to connect with you further.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for my audience, check the show notes. You're definitely going to see the link to access of the quiz and that of various media where you actually get to kind of connect with her. Yeah, your story just reminds us that, Carmen, your story just reminds us that success isn't just about what we build externally, but what we build, what we are able to hold internally, from navigating instability beneath, achieving to developing a ground, powerful presence. Your journey highlights more like the importance of aligning identity, emotion, and actions. Your work challenging the idea that more effort is always the answer, and instead of us pulling towards something deeper, stability and self-trust, and the ability to lead without losing oneself in the process. It's really a pleasure and honor having you on the show, Daniel.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here too.